We're using brush on gold leaf to start painting the lead decoration pieces for the stern, the front, and the sides. So far it's pretty good. We're using a number 00 brush. There we go. And I can't remember where I got this, probably from Model Expo. Every time I would go in there, when they used to have the retail outlet, I would just pick up stuff. And my guess is this is where that came from. Now we are on to putting the blue on. I use a paint palette like this, which allows me to, when I'm mixing paints, this blue is one that's mixed with blue and white to get to the color that I wanted. So I can come back here and use the last time I did the mix and come right back to the color that I mixed. So it's very useful. A lot of patience is required. I think painting is the least attractive skill in model building, at least it is for me. If you mess it up, of course you can just come over and paint over the top of it. I'm using a mix of all sorts of different paints in here, which probably is not recommended, but it's what I have. And so there's some acrylic, there's some oil, there's a whole host of different paints used on this piece. We are coming along. Each time we add a little figure, the blue is on. The next we'll go is to the red and to the black. And then finally we'll put the skin tones on. So it's actually turning out a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. All complete now. Just waiting for them to dry, and we'll install permanently on the boat. Very happy with the job that we've done. The figurehead was very easy to put in. It fits neatly over, perfectly aligned, and that scepter was stuck in with CA. The figurehead was stuck with PVA, which gave us some working time to put it in place. It went on really very easily. We also painted the cat heads gold, which somehow I'd forgotten to do. And they really look pretty good, pretty cool. Had a lot of trouble getting a clamp to hold at the bottom. Eventually I found this one, and it worked pretty good. It's a result of me pulling the back in, and it's not absolutely level. So again, the sins of the past come back to haunt you as you start putting the finishes on. We decided to cut the wheel rather than the quarter badge to fit it on the side. We just figured that this was a better way to fit it. We're changing the bit size to take out a little bit more of this stuff. Now we'll use a chisel just to clean up the bottom so we have a nice flat surface. You'll have a lot of trial fits. Take a little bit at a time so that you don't end up taking too much. Now we start working on the other side. Again, you're seeing the very fine bit used to carve inside of that line. Be careful not to go outside of it. We'll come back later and take some more. Now we change back to the heavier bit, which takes out the bulk of the piece that we want removed. Again, you're seeing the beauty of this tool, turbo carver. It's very, very gentle on the model and a very feathery touch. Absolutely perfect for doing this kind of work. Just clean this up now. Let's get it down level. And, oops. And we'll try a fit. And that's just to clean up the edge. We're going to put a little filler on the inside here, because we really want a nice clean edge. And then we'll just push the brass part down and scrape out the excess. We're going to put the glass on, which is these plastic pre-painted strips that we've made up. We just painted the back with primer, gray primer. There we go. And we'll put some PVA and stick it on. Not too close to the edge, because you don't want the glue to come through on the plastic to be able to see from the inside. We just let that dry, and then clean up the filler that we put and stick again with PVA. We do plan to put some pins on all the metal pieces, at least 2 pins, to hold everything in place. You only have one shot to put this on, and that's the result. This is the port side dry fitted, just to make sure everything fits. Starboard side glued into position with the filler on the side, and then when we sand the filler, it's ready to paint. I've decided that the side decoration is good enough that it doesn't need a pin, but the little dragonfish certainly does. So we've drilled it and we'll pin it, and at this point in time I'm going to stick it with PVA. Go. Lots of spill over there which we need to clean up, and back to the old faithful way of taking it out using a paintbrush and some water. Another good way of bending is to use the piece of the stern that came out to form the stern. Simply cut off the two pieces that jut out and put some clamps on it, and this will give you the required form. We are just sticking the top rail to the stern, using CA with it, pre-painted the rail itself, and we had some adjustment to make on the top rail here. So we just let that sit, and then all we have left to do in terms of the decorations is to put the two men on either side. So we needed that sequence to take place. First the side decoration, then the little dragonfish, then the top rail, and then finally these little fellas. And we're going to put a pin on the base of it and use that pin as to the main point that will secure the man to the stern. We have now completed all the decorations, and just taking you through, so forgive me if it's a little jerky. And this brings us to the end of this video. So all that's left is the cannons to be installed inside, and then we start on the rigging.